I really enjoyed it, and of course my favourite character was Lucy. And how tiring is that? How weird is that? It was just a bit... I loved it, because, like James said, it can make your imagination go wild. Like, it was a really good book, I really liked it.
I read the book when I was about 10 or 11, and I loved it. It played quite a big part in my development of reading, because I'd only really read a bit of Roald Dahl before that. I didn't read much, and reading that took me on to other things, you know. It was a really good book to kind of break you in, because it lets your imagination go mental, and I loved it. Aslan was probably my favourite character, closely followed by Mr. Tumnus, so it was a bit of an honour to be able to play him. I think as well, like, a lot of it's about escape, isn't it? About children can feel very helpless when at a time of war, or a time
they can't do anything.
Yeah, or a time when, you know, their parents are arguing, or a time when they're being bullied at school, or their house is burned down, or they've moved schools, or whatever your thing is, and you can feel quite helpless and unempowered, and maybe your imagination gets you out of there. And when you need to find something else, sometimes, hopefully, you do. Narnia is that place where you're not helpless, you are empowered, and actually you're the complete opposite, because it needs you to become the queen and, you know, lead the armies, and you have to do something, you know. So it's about showing kids that they can, it's okay to feel helpless, because you can find something else, you know.
It was extremely overwhelming at times.
What about when you first saw Narnia?
Oh,
when you first saw the snow and stuff?
What they did was they blindfolded me so that they would get Georgie's first reaction to Narnia and Lucy's first reaction to Narnia. And basically, I was hoisted up, blindfolded, passed down the stairs, man to man to man to man. And then we did the take, one take wonder, turned around, wow! And it was Lucy's first reaction, and I'm like, Lucy, so it was Georgie's first reaction, it was Lucy's first reaction, it was the exact same thing.
What you see in the film is the very first time that Georgie saw Narnia, and saw Mr. Tumnus.
And saw Mr. Tumnus, yes.
We'd known each other for a month, and she'd never seen me as Mr. Tumnus. And we didn't like it too much at first, did we?
No.
It was quite difficult to be us and be Tumnus and Lucy at the same time, because it was, you know, it was kind of weird for us, wasn't it?
Mm. Basically, I get quite scared at first because there's footsteps around me and I don't know what it is, and then it turns out to be this lovely little fawn, Mr. Tumnus, and he turns out to be very fascinated by humans.
Yeah, because he doesn't know whether they exist or not.
No.
But he kind of hopes they do. He's been researching the myth of the human for quite some time, hasn't he?
Yeah. And it's just like, they kind of like become friends at first sight, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
They think to themselves, right, he's a bit weird, but I'm going to persevere. And then when
he thinks that about her,
yeah, and when they do persevere, then they become like best of friends, really, don't they?
I think they're both really similar people. They're both really open, and kind of like you said about Georgie, about Lucy, wise as well, in a weird way. And he's 150 and she's 8, and yet they still just connect. I had to wear green tights for nearly the whole shoot, didn't I?
Yeah,
Which,
green tights with orange ping pong balls when it was daylight.
You know,
in night time.
Yeah, I mean,
blue tights with blue disco lights.
Which made you call me, rather hilariously,
Disco Fawn.
I was Disco Fawn for months. You know, I'm not that vain, but, you know, I kind of want to be a bit sexy. You know what I mean? Wearing green tights and disco lights and being called Disco Fawn kind of worked against that a little bit. But it was a bit demasculinizing, you know. But it was fine. And loads of hair all over me, and ears and horns, and the facial hair, which was kind of half of my own ginger facial hair, and half kind of little Aragon bits as well. But it was about 3.5 hours every day, wasn't it? Yeah,
it was awful. You had to get up at like 4 in the morning or 3.
Yeah, I know. And then you'd kind of stroll in at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Like
8 o'clock. I had to get up. My earliest pickup was 6:45.
Okay.
Now that doesn't seem very early to you, but it's early for me. Okay. The thing that got me about Aslan was there was a shot on the side of his face. Right on the side of his face, like really close up. and he was talking, and you could see the muscles actually working, and you thought, how much work has gone into that? Oh my gosh! And it's just, it made me feel even more proud to be part of this.
I thought Aslan was really well realised and really beautifully created.
Brilliant.
Liam Neeson's voice was brilliant on it.
Like
It was a real
powerful,
character
yet
then.
kind, yet calm, and
Yeah, and it was quite difficult on the day because we'd be acting with maybe Andrew, the director, going, "I'm Aslan and I'm coming up behind you," and he was great, you know what I mean? And he put a lot into it. Or we'd be acting with Dean Wright with a big, he had like a kind of breastplate with a lion's head in it, going, "Oh, I'm Aslan." So it was kind of different. So be able to see it with Aslan as he looks and Liam Neeson as he sounds, and have a real character there. It was quite. It just kind of put the last piece of the jigsaw puzzle in. Yeah.
I think that they should leave their expectations at the door, because it's like, it will be like nothing that you've ever seen before. So if you're going in and expecting something like Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, you won't see Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, because this is a one-of-a-kind film. And Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings, they're great films. Yeah. I love them. They're absolutely great. But we're just so different. That's the thing that makes us, that's why you should leave your expectations at the door.
Yeah, and you're only ever going to get disappointed if you've got really high expectations. And the thing that's specific about the book of Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe is that so much of it is left up to the reader's imagination. He describes very little. So you've created quite a lot of it. So all books are hard to realise your imagination, but this one in particular, it's very difficult to recreate everyone's imagination, because everybody's idea of it is so completely different. So come looking to share Andrew Adamson's idea and his vision of it, because his vision of it is beautiful.